Welcome, everyone, to episode 3 of Metaverse Interviews with your host, LeDrop WithCheese. Today, I have a very special guest, another person that I met during NFT.NYC 2022. Her name is Charlene Nichols. She is the founder of the Omniverse. Charlene actually came to my Meat and Cheese event Tuesday during NFT.NYC. And then I was blown away by her project and what she's been working on for years. And invited her to be an interview on this segment, Metaverse Interviews. So welcome, Charlene. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Thank you very much for having me, Joey. And thank you for everything that you do to help, especially startups in this space. I got to witness firsthand all of the people that you surround yourself with. When I met you at that event in New York, it was kind of my first time coming into this industry, and it was just great to see such a diverse group of people. But most of them were kind of at the beginning phases of, I think everyone's kind of at the beginning phase of this industry, but it was just really, really great to see that, like, really good energy. I mean, you just surround yourself with great energy, and it's been a blessing ever since I met you. I'm looking forward to the future.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, the goal was to do like a networking event where we can just get away from NFT NYC and network with people that don't necessarily want to get sold on products and projects at NFT NYC that are paying to be there, but just kind of see what everyone's really doing. And luckily, all the people that I wanted to show up actually showed up this time. You know, it was kind of stars aligned, and that's how we got to meet. And you got to meet a lot of great people as well. So thanks again for that. But yeah, let's talk about the Omniverse. Everything you've been working on for the last 3 years is now culminating into Web3. So tell us what the Omniverse is.
The Omniverse is people, is the best way I could describe it. And, you'll hear a lot of people talking about metaverse development and platforms and virtual worlds, but I encourage you to always get a look at the story, because I feel like if somebody's building a metaverse just to get into the game, they're going to be building a hollow platform. What we did when we started is we didn't have a metaverse. We really didn't have even a virtual platform. We had a desperate, dying need in my industry, which everyone knows now is the optical and eye care space. Because when you hear the word decentralized, I don't know how many people have really taken a step back to really inspect that word and dig into the definition of it and understand what it means. But decentralization in an industry like optical and like eye care is extremely essential. And like any industry, I think that's the case, whether it be education, retail, healthcare. We say this word, but I really encourage everyone to take a step back and consider decentralization and understand that the tools with which businesses can use to develop a successful fortress have been so skewed towards those who have the actual financial resources to leverage them that there are monopolies all over the place. It's not illegal. It's actually the standard. It is standard to have a monopoly in an industry. Optical is not alone. Thankfully, technology across the last few years have created these little gaps for sneaky little entrepreneurs like me to kind of get in there and use their creativity to create new forms of currency. And I turned away all of the currency that I had at the end of my 20-year career, which was financial, and I decided to leverage other currencies that I had that were being underutilized in my life. My creativity, my talent, my tenacity. These are all things that nobody could really take away from me, and they were things that I really saw a big need to invest in myself. And when I understood the gravity of how decentralization had affected the industry that I'd spent the majority of my life being involved in on the centralized side, and I got to see what it was like without the resources that I'd been afforded my entire career, I just felt it. I felt a responsibility, and I really truly mean that, to take everything I'd learned and seen with those tools and build them with the resources I had. Now, unfortunately, one of those resources was not money, to be honest with you. That was the least accessible resource I had. So I was forced to build my own accessibility by leveraging the tools that I had. And it was that quest that led me to virtual trade show development and led me to virtual community development and led me to the metaverse and now the Omniverse. Because every step along the way, I uncovered more of a need for this accessibility and this decentralization, for people to come to a place where they can have organized decentralization. Because in a lot of these places where decentralization is occurring, there's chaos because nobody's decided to take a position of leadership to say, okay, well, we can be independent and we can be individual. But if we're not going to have, a corporate leader or a monopolistic leader telling us what to do, then somebody has to take a position of leadership to create a standard so that we at least have something functional. Otherwise, decentralization will not last very long, because the businesses who know how to centralize things will have that same opportunity to come in and take control of the Web3 world. And we have a chance right now to avoid that from happening. So that's kind of where the spirit of the Omniverse was born.
That is a fantastic story. I'm glad that you're leveraging everything you've worked for in your life and utilizing all your skills to actually build something that people want in Web3 that is going to help a number of individuals as well as businesses. So let's talk a little bit about what the Omniverse actually is and how people can use it. So how can I use the Omniverse right now?
Well, you are.
Yeah.
So we've built layers to the Omniverse because we are an all-gen accessible platform, which basically means whether you're just discovering the internet, because there's a lot of people there, or you're, an expert in Web3, because I don't know if anybody really is yet. But if you've just navigated it, if you've, invested in NFTs, if you've, launched your first collection, if you're working in the crypto and the blockchain space. I mean, there's so many different variables to the Web3 world that's becoming so humongous that there's still some need for finding that little entry point into a world where we can kind of use these tools as a whole. Regardless, we're right now in a community center of the Omniverse, which is where I'm meeting with you, Joey. It's where we hope to have future interviews with people that that love the Web3 space and are excited about the 3D aspect. But here it's all about community. So even though the Omniverse is a 3D platform, which is super beautiful and is hyper realistic, and it is a world where you can just be blown away by the graphics, even without a VR headset. We knew that a lot of people weren't ready to go there yet. You have to kind of ease most people into the metaverse. Even though they're excited about it, you can't just drop them off there and expect they're going to know how to navigate, what to do with these 3D tools. So, how you get there and why you get there is through a platform, a community center like the one that we're in now. You kind of learn about the different roles that we are offering. You take advantage of our free pass. You get one free visitor pass that you get to use each month. It's a 12-hour access pass. We're going to go live end of September, early October. We're starting with the optical industry, and we're hosting an actual event there, which is going to allow us to bring the entire optical industry on board all at once. Whomever wants to go can come. There's no limit. We're not limiting registration. So unlike a physical event, where most of these places with COVID can maybe, if they're lucky, host, 20, 30,000 people. We're going to, if you want to come and you're in the optical industry, you'll be able to come, and you'll have to go through the city. So you'll get to pass through an area where we'll have storefronts, and we're already talking with retailers who are looking to bring a virtual storefront, very much like they had to develop a digital storefront with Web 2, with, e-commerce and Shopify and WooCommerce and all these tools. This is just another layer for your business. And we're just going to make it easy with the Omniverse. That's our goal.
Awesome. Hell yeah. I want a store for LeDrop with cheese in the Omniverse. Yes, absolutely. And I can already think of some cool displays for it as well, but we can talk about that later. So we're in the community center now of the Omniverse, and then you have like a downtown virtual world that's 3D where people can actually purchase items. And then you also have another part of it, right? Or a couple other parts of the Omniverse available.
You know, I spend a lot of time in an industry that does a really good job segmenting itself, where there's like a retail community within this one global industry and a medical community. And one of the things that we did with the development of my vision show and then the Optical Metaverse was to create a comfortable place for each of those individual communities to connect, but then a global place for them all to kind of learn from each other. And as I started laying out the map for the Omniverse, I realized that if we just stuff everybody in together and we don't give them their comfortable place to kind of feel like it's relevant to them specifically, that it would be really tough for people to embrace this as a total platform. However, we did want to make sure that we gave people the opportunity to still interact with each other. So we did this through, and this is not uncommon, we see a lot of metaverse doing this, district development. Everything's connected. You can teleport, provided you have access to the districts that you want to go to from one place to the next. Downtown is our open district for everyone. It's kind of like going to the mall. So that's where no matter where you have a storefront, whether it be digital or physical, and whether it be in the US or, India, it doesn't matter. You can build a virtual storefront in downtown district and people can come and shop there. We then have Block Street. We're developing strategic partnerships with software as a service providers. These are people who provide tools that anyone who's developing a metaverse, whether it's a space or a world, they're going to need a lot of tools. You need fiat on ramps. You need crypto, basis to build upon. You need strategists. You need, salespeople, marketing people, VR and AR experts. I mean, the list is just nauseating of what you need to navigate and keep up with all the demands of your consumers. So as we're onboarding more and more service providers and SaaS providers, we're actually giving them an opportunity to invest in Block Street, where they get their own Skyriser and their own community, where they can, either bring in their own audience or leverage the audience that the Omniverse provides. We have the district where it all started, which is Genesis District. That's where our Metavention Center is, where we're going to be hosting the most unreal conventions. Definitely, you have not seen anything like this, right, Joey?
Yeah, it's futuristic and it actually works. It's pretty awesome.
And my favorite new area of the Omniverse, and it was really inspired by what I saw at NFT.NYC, and it was really inspired by your community, Joey, because I didn't know the NFT industry at all before I started reaching out to people like you. And shout out to Xander Sims, like he was the first person I ever connected to in the industry, only because I did not want to start calling this a metaverse out of respect for everything that you guys had done as an industry, until I was sure that we were really abiding by the standards of what others were calling a metaverse. And to my surprise, people were like, what? This is definitely a metaverse. So right. It gave me the confidence to own it. But then I said, okay, well, if we're going to participate in the metaverse industry and give this as a tool for them to use, who needs it the most? And in my opinion, that's the NFT community. I didn't understand NFT at all. I was probably like most people who haven't really participated in it yet. I didn't get it. I'm like, why are people investing all this money in, JPEGs? But I get it now. I really get it. There are some insanely talented artists out there who have had their lives completely disrupted because the places where they would normally showcase their talents are physical galleries that are themselves fighting for survival, let alone being able to provide a suitable channel for somebody to monetize their lifelong talent. I mean, what do you do when you pivot as an artist? I mean, it's like you go flip burgers. This is your passion. This is your whole life. So I think the NFT industry as a whole, I think it's extremely important that it has the tools that it needs to succeed. I think there's a lot of kids. I've spoken to some teenagers who want to get into the NFT space, and a lot of them, their parents are actually my friends. And they've said, I really love that there's a place like the Mint that's creating mentorship. We actually call them junior mints.
It's
Where
witty.
yeah, it just fell in my lap. I didn't plan that. Where sorry if there's any infringement there. We'll have to kind of double check and make sure that's okay. But we envision a world, and we're building a world, not envision it. This is happening. We have 5 artists that are already signed up for the mint. We have one of them that's coming on board that has a sizable collection, and the challenge is the same. The talent is there for sure, the ability, the research. These people have probably spent hundreds of hours scouring the internet through Google and YouTube, trying to find the right answers of how to get their OpenSea listing to get traffic to their dismay with 4 or 5 views. And the Mint is going to provide the required resources to have fun auction experiences and artist showcase, and meet with people here in the community center, as well as in the Mint, which is this absolutely gorgeous gallery / museum that we've created.
Awesome. Hell yeah. That's outstanding. That you're trying to reach out to kids to get involved early. This is definitely something where if there's a passion for NFTs from a young age, is we need to help them succeed, and teach them that they can follow their passion in life. It's not just all about where you got your degree from or where you grew up. It's all about your passion. And that's kind of what the recurring theme in Web3 is, I noticed, is people are going all in on themselves and building the community around the things that are very near and dear to their heart, and they're succeeding. And these are the types of companies and projects and people that I love working with, just like yourself. You're super ambitious. You've always been passionate about the optical industry, and now you're able to kind of combine the two. And it's very obvious to me you are all in on yourself, and that's why I want to work with you to get as much visibility as you can, as well as credibility. So I love what you're doing. Let's talk about like some of the companies you're looking to attract for sponsorship or partnership on Block Street in your virtual world. What kind of companies are your target demographic?
So right now, the biggest gap that we have, and it's been intentional, a lot of people are shocked when they see that we've got storefronts that don't have their own centralized, shopping gateway, if you will. And we did that for a reason. If you're a retailer and you prefer Shopify, or you prefer WooCommerce, or you prefer OpenSea, we want you to be able to connect to the payment gateways that are best suitable for your business. One of the first partnerships we've developed is with a company called CrossMint, and they really really loved the platform, like had the same response that you did. And because they offer that fiat on ramp, it's going to make it really easy for us to kind of mix noobs with experts in this whole Web3 space. So definitely anybody who feels like they've created accessibility products to help newcomers to the industry get onboarded, we definitely want to hear from you, because how we're approaching Block Street is if you come in as a partnership, we develop similar to like an affiliate agreement, and then basically you will get connected to our concierge community. We currently have 7 concierge consultants working with us. These are people who are experts in the NFT and Web3 space. They've decided that they want to, work from home and build their own book of business. And they get to meet with our business owners after they've made a decision to come into the Omniverse, no matter whether it's in the Mint or the downtown district or even in Genesis. We have experts for each of those districts. We even have a new enterprise level expert who I'm super stoked to have on board. Gabriel, thank you so much for all of your advice and all of your support. He's going to be working with, companies that we try to onboard. We're looking to work with companies like McDonald's, Coca-Cola. We don't want to shoot small. Just because we're a woman-founded, woman-funded metaverse does not mean we don't have the same power and support and tenacity as like some of these larger, funded.
Right.
We're bootstrapped, and we're not afraid to say it, because it's going to inspire people out there who are like concerned that, geez, if I can't find the right investor, can I get this project off the ground? Sometimes when you wait for that support financially, it kind of limits you from taking advantage of the opportunity in front of us right now. Because frankly, investors, I mean, they're getting hit up by every second for opportunities. So I think this is a really clear opportunity for somebody who wants to bootstrap it to just use that as a unique differentiator. So if you're new to the space, if you're looking for support, or if you're an enterprise level company, either way, some of the earlier partnerships we have, we just partnered with Versi, super stoked, and they're also a
Nice.
startup. They do a DIY metaverse experience. So we'll be providing that now more affordable way to build a metaverse, whereas we're building on Unreal Engine, which, as most people know, comes with a hefty cost, both in development and management. So we're even partnering with other metaverses. So we're not going to be looking to create a siloed infrastructure. We're definitely going to be focused on interoperability, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we're all going to make it. We all have to work together and teach each other and learn from each other in order to make the community its best. And that's what I like about your business strategy is you're not just trying to be a closed, walled off community. If the visions don't align, you're like, hey, how can we learn from each other and make this metaverse and your metaverse better together? And that mindset alone is kind of the ethos of the NFT community, which you are discovering, every day as you go along in your journey. And I'm really glad to have you around in the metaverse. I'm looking forward to the offering and seeing how many people are going to love the platform, how they're each going to be able to get different benefits out of it, whether they're an NFT artist or a business or just a consumer or a collector. You have all of those facets, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. So in the meantime, between now and when you go live, how can people get a hold of you or check out your platform? What's the best web address and social media you want people following you on?
Thank you so much for asking that. So you can go to the Omniverse.city, and there's a place there for you to request information on upcoming tickets and passes. Our team is literally just coming out of alpha mode, which is where we were, kind of demonstrating this to people to just make sure that everybody who's involved was on board. And we have had almost no negative feedback. And believe me, I've been developing disruptive software for a very long time in my career. And usually you get 80% of the people who look for every little thing to pick on and 20% that love it. But I have had 100% of the people who've seen this just say, I can't really find anything wrong with it. So that's been super exciting. But because we were focused so much on that, we've been really quickly trying to shift gears to make it easy for those who want to participate to know how to get in and where to get in. And most of that's going to be through Eventbrite. We're going to have an easy way for you to look on Eventbrite, see the different roles that are available, whether it be a visitor, a buyer, a seller, an investor, a partner. And that's what our team is working on right now. So if you get to the Omniverse website and it's not exactly clear how to get the right ticket, just send us an email and we'll communicate with you that way until we get our acts together and get it's very hard to communicate with clarity all of these different things. That's why we created the visitor pass. So most people won't know exactly what role they want to have when they come in. So we wanted to make it easy for you to get in for free and to visit and to experience it and decide, okay, what role do I really want to play in this world?
Cool. Yes, I love that. NFT.NYC was a long week for a lot of us. And I just wanted to, in your opinion, what are some of the cool or interesting things that you learned or saw that week in New York?
I think the biggest takeaway for me was the energy. It was outstanding. But I'll tell you what really shocked me more than anything. It was the lack of virtual, every event there should have had a digital twin, if not a standard digital twin for the whole damn thing. And and a lot of these events are happening physically that don't have a digital twin. And I think it's great that the people who can afford, whether it be taking time away from their business or having the resources to go to these beautiful cities. And, I mean, you go to New York for a week, it's not cheap, I can tell you that. And
Right.
not everybody has those resources. So I do think there's still a lot of work to be done with the people who are coordinating these events and creating another level of accessibility for newcomers. But for a newcomer who went not knowing what to expect, it was an incredible experience getting to know this industry. Everybody I met was brilliant. Actually, I think I said I found my people. I was like, oh my God, these people know what the hell I'm talking about. I love this. So I think if you're out there and you're one of those people who talks to your friends and they're like, what the heck is this person talking about? I think brilliant minds and entrepreneurs and probably people who watched a great deal of science fiction as a kid. If you're one of those people who just can't find your space, I'm telling you, reach out to people in this community because they're very friendly and they're very open. And it's like that mastermind effect where when you talk to people, like even when I talk to you, Joey, it's like those ideas, they just keep flowing because you just feel comfortable innovating and thinking out loud. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That's like my favorite part about going to these major conferences is, you go to an event, you meet a bunch of people, you're like, wow, everyone seems great. And then you go to more events and you keep seeing the same people. So by the end of the week, you're like buddies, you're texting, you're like, oh, hey, just checking in. What's up? I haven't seen you since last week. It's like you make these new friends in the space that the number one rule in the NFT community is no idiots, right? Because it's really complicated. You can't, if you don't know what Web 2 or Web 3 is, trying to tell someone what an NFT is like a huge leap. So you're inherently intelligible in this space, like you said, brilliant people. You haven't gone all in on corporate America and love your day job and are going to retire with a safe pension. You're thinking of better ways that we can bring new communities together utilizing technology. And we're all innovators and we're all driven to make something for ourselves that isn't traditional. So yes, you are with your people, Charlene. Welcome.
And I'll be honest with you. I'm glad that of all the people I met, it was you that I met. And I think somebody shared something on LinkedIn the other day about how there was this post going viral on how LinkedIn was becoming useless. And then that person had a very smart debate about how a lot of the connections they make can be traced back to LinkedIn. I don't know if enough people do this. When you make a really good connection that like the one that I made with you, incredible connection, to trace it back to how it started. I had no idea who you were. I just saw your post. I love that your name was LeDrop with cheese. I thought this guy's got a good personality. There were hundreds of free events that week. I could have gone to any one of them, but as a newcomer, your event, like your actual energy spoke through your Eventbrite and connected with me to say, okay, I feel like this is a place where I could be safe. As a woman, I'm going to be honest with you. That was the first thing I was looking at.
Right.
Can I be safe coming to this? Is there going to be people here that I, don't know? You're
Right.
walking through the city alone, let's face it. And it just, everything about it made me feel comfortable, but it really exceeded my expectations because I was just able to come in, not know anyone, get to talk to people, feel super welcomed. I got to hang out with you afterwards. I went back to your other event. I felt like we were best friends at that point. And you're right. Walking through NFT.NYC, I was watching the badges, and a lot of these people I knew from LinkedIn. It was crazy. I'm like, I know everybody here. It's crazy. So I do think you should pay close attention to your social media and just, do a really good job managing that because I mean, anyone can succeed if you leverage the tools that are there.
Yes, I agree. I love LinkedIn. A year and a half ago is kind of when LeDrop with Cheese started. And I'm like, I need to be an authority on LinkedIn if I want to seem credible because I understand the technology. I, created NFT collections. I do consulting, PR. I'm all up in this space. And I knew LinkedIn was going to be an integral social media channel for me to succeed. And I feel like some of the best and brightest people I've met in Web3 they all they all start at LinkedIn, just a random comment on a post and then you start talking and then you actually get to meet them. It's LinkedIn's a great a great channel for anyone looking to start in Web3, or even if you're in it and you're not leveraging it as a project, you got to use LinkedIn. I agree.
Well, and it just gives you a place, like, I think you could probably get away with being a little bit more, like, and there's a lot of people that you have to worry, okay, like, can I trust this person? Can I, like, believe that they say what they can do? And I think people that are on Facebook and Instagram or TikTok or any of these other platforms, they're not going to be forced to hold themselves to as high of a standard as LinkedIn. Because in LinkedIn,
Yes.
that's your career. That's my livelihood. I mean, I have over 8,000 followers on LinkedIn, and it's from, 27 years of busting my rear end. I am not going to screw up.
Right. Yes.
I'm going to do everything I can to be hold myself to a high standard, because I've worked really hard for that. And I think when you're starting out in this space, you really have to be careful who you trust and believe in. And I met someone who led me to you. It's like everyone I've met, even connections from the connections I've made, because I've been very careful about who I've connected with. I've been very fortunate that everybody I've met has been very, very honest and forthcoming and hardworking. And I'm telling you, it's extremely refreshing compared to what life has been like as a solopreneur. Being able to work in a collaborative community like that, it's refreshing, and it kind of gives you that little boost to your energy that you need when you're working really hard in this space. I don't think there's any slackers in this space. If you're going to slack, you shouldn't be here, because it's not easy. So you do need to be working around people who are restoring your tank, putting gas in that tank.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for your time. Anything else that you want to share with our audience today about the Omniverse, or anything that you want us to know about?
I think we covered it all. I would just say get involved. We're experts to a point, but we want to hear your expertise. We want to give you a place to, apply your talents and to be successful. This is a community-centric organization. We were built by the community. Many of our graphics were inspired by artists that have participated. So if you're looking for a place where you could be a part of the development, reach out. We'd love to have you.
Yes. And thank you so much for your time, Charlene. Welcome to the Metaverse. Everyone out there, check out her platform. It's going live in less than 2 months. So let's all hang out there. We're going to be hosting a speed networking event coming up here soon. Stay tuned for details on that. And thanks again, Charlene. It's been great talking to you today.
And thank you so much for having me, Joey, and for, everything that you've shown me. I look forward to more.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
See you guys.